What's going on, Jeromes? Beautiful Tuesday afternoon. It's time for another Vikings Q&A session. Thank you, everyone who submitted questions periodically on the community tab. We'll put a call out for questions. So, again, kudos, props to everyone who tossed a couple in. Vikings are back at TCO. It's feeling good, man. First up, Mr. Montreal Screwjob. Love the reference. People seem to forget that C.J. Ham had 1,097 yards and 16 touchdowns on the ground in college. Is there a world where we would get him involved in the run game? You would think so. But also, you would think that if Kevin O'Connell was going to do it, he would have done it by now. Or Curtis Modkins, running backs coach, run game coordinator, would have been like, hey, you know who's good? Number 30, right? And I kind of want it to happen because CJ, go look up some CJ Ham Augustana film. Augustana Vikings, by the way. It was foreshadowing. CJ Ham was a bad dude. NSIC represent, although I don't think he ever beat Winona State, which is basically the Alabama Crimson Tide of NSIC football. I don't want to hear about Mankato State University Community College. That's it. That's all, man. But with CJ Ham, so he's a tailback in college and coming into the league, and then he added weight and became a fullback for the Vikings, basically replacing Jerome Felton. He did like the Zach Line thing. You know, because remember, Zach Line was a badass tailback at SMU back in the day. He was Pony Express 2.0, man. And then they had him add weight, and then he moved to fullback. But CJ Ham is stuck. He's a team captain. He just turned 31. Happy belated birthday. Also, I mean, Raheem Mostert scored like 17,000 touchdowns last year at age 31. Why not CJ Ham in short yardage situations, man? Come on. Also, I mean, CJ Ham's a pretty damn solid pass protector as well. So why the hell not? Next. Cody Pierce. Who would you like to see as wideout 3 and tight end 2 come September 8th? So week 1, I mean, ideally, it would be great if Brandon Powell or Jalen Naylor or Trent Sherfield or Tristan Jackson or Thayer Thomas or someone else really stepped up as that third receiver. But also, I think that it is a distinct possibility that wide receiver 3 isn't currently on the team. And, of course, Adam Thielen is still out there. The Panthers would save around $8.25 million in cap space if they traded him. And also, I feel like they could work something out, the Vikings and the Panthers, because the Panthers need some cap space. Vikings could use some leadership and wide receiver depth. Plus, Thielen... Thielen departed from the Vikings because the Vikings didn't want to pay his contract, and Thielen didn't think that he was getting the work that he needed. And Thielen got the bag from the Panthers now and has guaranteed money this year. And he got targets last season, but probably not going to have targets this year with the new coaching staff as well, new regime, and also with the addition of Deontay Johnson and Xavier Leggett. So come on. Hey, if you're going to be a wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4, come on home. You already know the Kevin O'Connell offense. Just go from there, man. And if he can accept his role as a wide receiver 3-4 and a red zone guy and a locker room guy, it'd be great. For tight end 2, so I do think that Josh Oliver will be tight end 1, stepping in for TJ Hawkinson. Maybe not in all the receiving aspects, but I think Bobby Tonyan has a chance to really step up and step in. You know, he looked very impressive during OTAs. I think last year with the Bears behind Cole Kmet, I mean, the offense was just inert. Yeah, and also I think that he was still working back from that ACL, but now he's another year removed. And I mean, Tanyan's got some chops. The pride of Indiana State, go Sycamores. Like, he had a double-digit touchdown reception season back in 2020. Basically handed Aaron Rodgers an alleged MVP. So I think that he's a guy that could rise up. I like Johnny Munt, but I think that Tanyan's ceiling is a little bit higher. I like Nick Muse, but we'll see if he can get things going. But yeah, I think that it will be. Do we just say it's Thielen and Tonyan as wide receiver 3 and tight end 2? It's a good question. I like that. Also, another veteran name that could be a cap casualty, or actually will be a cap casualty, is Robert Woods with the Texans. Because the Texans are stacked, right? And they can save cap space by cutting Woods. Because the Texans go Nico, Tank Dell, Stephon Diggs, John Mechie III, and Robert Woods is hanging out there. And he's wide receiver 5 at best, and Woods ain't going to play special teams at this point of his career. But given familiarity with O'Connell and Wes Phillips, I think that he could be a little bit something as a wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4. Also, this still irks me so bad. So the 2018 Thursday night game, the Vikings at the Rams in the Coliseum, and the Rams and McVay Was O'Connell there then? Doesn't matter. But the Rams come out in 13 personnel. So 1 running back, Todd Gurley, 3 tight ends, and then Robert Woods is the lone wide receiver. And then they shift out of that because the Vikings were in their base defense, the 4-3 back with Zimmer. And somehow, some way, because I think Gurley split out wide, I think Woods was in the slot. And Woods ended up man-to-man against Anthony Barr, and he ran a seam route. And it was such an easy-ass touchdown, and I was apoplectic at the time. I was like, how in the world do they end up with the only receiver on the field being covered by Anthony Barr? And that's why I knew Sean McVay was pretty good. But I'm still pissed off about that damn play. Go look that one up. It will make your blood boil. Next, Lucky 7 Gaming. With Jordan Addison and TJ likely out for at least the first few weeks, do you see an air raid offense opportunity for Jefferson and the supporting cast, or should we focus more on batting down the hatches on defense and establishing the run with a committee-type backfield? Well, all right, so Hawkinson's probably going to miss the first 4 weeks, but with Addison, with O'Connell talking about letting the legal process play out, I think Addison will face punishment and probably a suspension, but it might not even be this year, because the legal process can take a long time. So maybe next year or maybe even the season after that before he's suspended. So I actually don't think that he's going to miss any games, although the team certainly could suspend him at any point. But either way, I mean, Jefferson, that's why he got the contract. He's going to have to put this team on his back. And yeah, he's going to have a new quarterback either way, whether it's Darnold, whether it's McCarthy. But I think the Vikings will still go after it. And with Jefferson tripled up, I mean, if Addison's out there, fantastic. If it's someone else, if it's Thielen, if it's Josh Oliver at tight end 1-2, same thing with Bobby Tonyan, same thing with Brandon Powell, Jalen Naylor, someone else steps up, they're going to have to. Because the Vikings, it would be great to just play defense and run the ball and ugly this thing up, but that's not going to happen. But I think that they will try to run the ball with Aaron Jones and company, but take some deep play action shots and really get after it that way. I think that's what it's going to have to be to start. And I mean, Jefferson, I love that Jefferson wants that pressure because he wants to be the best. He wants to be great. And now, when a player in the NFL gets a contract, or any pro athlete, right? A lot of players, they're just like, I made it. I got the money. Jefferson is one of the rare breeds. They're just like, now I need to prove to everyone that I deserve the money. I love that mentality. And we're going to see it on full display to start the season. Skippy, if the season goes as poorly as the national media thinks, don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. Do you think we will stick and pick to get the best position of need that could put this team over the top, or will we move back and recoup some draft picks and have more depth? Well, all right, so the Vikings, without the 2, 3, 4, probably getting a 3 back for comp picks, but I think they'll stick and pick and trenches, baby. Mason Graham from Michigan, a badass interior offensive lineman. Go from there. I think that'll be the plan. Also, I think the Vikings will go hard in the paint in the interior offensive line. I'm talking like 21, 22, 23 million per year for Creed Humphrey. Don't care. Pay it, man. Pay it. Lastly, Catching Phoenix, Vikings question. It seems like all or nothing effect on the KJ tragedy. Either the team rebounds in his honor or is emotionally hamstrung. What do you predict? I think this team is going to rally. And I think timing-wise, with it happening in the offseason and, them having a couple weeks to process it before getting back to business, I think that's good for them to, digest and process this thing mentally. And they'll dedicate the season to Kyrie, especially that DB room, especially the defense. And I think that they'll be tighter and stronger because of it. And it's just really tragic all the way around. But like I said, timing-wise, like you've seen teams, not just NFL, but other sports too. Like if something horrible and tragic happens in the middle of the season, I mean, that can really upset things. And rightfully so. I mean, at the end of the day, they're playing a game. And yes, it's their profession, but they're humans, right? It happens. But I think the Vikings will rally around the memory of Kyrie and have a really phenomenal season. Life question. What is a reasonable amount to spend on a hobby? I want to write music, but a good-sounding virtual instrument package is $600. That and a keyboard, $50 is all I would need for basically ever, but it's still a massive upfront cost. Well, there's a couple things. So, hate to tie it back to the Kyrie thing, but the lesson that life is short and you should maximize your happiness and utility while you're here. I think that's a big part of it. And the whole thing too is like, the longer you put off, obviously writing music is something that you're passionate about and it makes you happy, but the longer you put it off, that's less time that you have to be happy with your hobby, right? And money is money, and it does come and go, and it is important, and yes, you do need it to live, but picking up like a side hustle, maybe you drive Uber, maybe you get a bartending job or whatever, and you rack up and stack up a couple extra $100, and you do it that way, or deliver pizzas, or do Uber Eats or something, and it doesn't have to be forever, but if you do that on the side in your free time, and then you rack up and stack up that $650, you're good to go. And like you said, I mean, they're durable goods, and you said that they'll be all you need basically ever, and you'll be happy that you did, right? And who knows, maybe writing music, maybe this hobby could turn into something more. Like maybe this turns into a side hustle or even a profession down the line. Or like I said, what really sucks is when something you're passionate about becomes monetized, and then if you rely on it for your livelihood, then it just becomes a job, right? And it sort of takes the fun out of things. But there's a balance there, because hell, if you're really damn good, you're really damn good. Respect. But yeah, I feel like in life we do need balance. We do need hobbies. We do need things that keep us sane. And obviously, music would be your thing. So whatever it takes, man. Or hell, if you cut back on some of your other bills or some activities until you scratch up enough money to pay for it, or get that side hustle gig, or put in some overtime at your current job, whatever it takes. If you want it, you'll get it done. If you want to, you will. That's what it comes down to. But that's it. That's at Q&A for this beautiful Tuesday. You guys are the best. You know what to do. Skull production value.